Okay, in this video I will explain you about iOS specific to Cisco and how you will use iOS command modes in Cisco devices. Then finally you will study certain method to access those devices. So first of all, let's see what is iOS. iOS stands for Internet Network Operating System. It is a proprietary operating system. You can see this iOS operating system almost every Cisco devices, including routers and switches. The main function of Cisco IOS, it will enable the communication among nodes. When I say nodes, it can be server or it can be any network related device, which means it can be access point, WLC. I mean anything that attached to the network will be considered as nodes. So it will create the connectivity among nodes in addition to routing and switching. To configure Cisco IOS devices, you will use command line interface. In order for accessing command line interface in your devices, you can use one of these three methods. One is console, telnet, then SSH. So each one of these methods we will discuss one by one. First option, via console port. It is one of the basic method always you require when you configure the device initially before you fix it in the network, right? The second point, you don't require any active network service to use this method. So instead you have to have physical access to the device. The third point, require console cable. This cable I will show it to you in the picture. The fourth one, must be configured with the password in order to prevent from unauthorized access. So if you don't have password, anyone who can access the device physically can get into the console access, and you need to make sure the physical protection. I will show the console cable how it look like. One end of the console cable will be called as RJ45 end, right? The other end a DB9 female connector, right? DB9 port female connector. This end will go to the console port of the Cisco device. This end will be connected to 9-pin serial port in backside of your PC. In case if you are using laptop, on that scenario you will not find the 9-pin serial port in the laptop. In that case, what you can do, you can use the different type of console cable. That console cable will have RJ45 in one end, other end will be USB end. This USB end directly will be connected to your laptop. This end will go to console port of your Cisco device, right? This is one of the cable type that you will use in the laptop normally. You can use this way as well. Let's assume you have laptop, but you don't have this type cable, you don't have this cable. Instead you have traditional console cable. On that scenario you cannot connect this DB9 female port to the laptop. Instead you have to go with the USB, but you don't have that cable. So on that scenario you can use the converter, right? So converter, how it look like, one end will be with DB9 male port, it will be connected to female port of the traditional console cable. This end will come to the laptop, be used as a converter in between laptop and the old traditional console cable. So this is the way you will connect the traditional console cable with the converter whenever you access the Cisco device without the serial port, right? Until now we see what are the physical things that we require for device console access. Additionally, you require one of the following terminal program. The first terminal program, hyperterminal. We use this option in Windows XP days. This terminal program normally bundled with Windows XP operating system. Additionally, you no need to install, right? So this is hyperterminal program. This option you must use in order to access the command line interface of the device, right? So this is hyperterminal program. The next one, PuTTY terminal program also you can use. Nowadays most of the time most of the people are using PuTTY terminal. And the third one is secure CRT. Fourth method, Terraterm. Terraterm also you can use in order to access your devices. But the common thing, you need to use the same setting in all of your terminal program in order to access the Cisco's devices, right? And whenever you use any one of the terminal program, you need to use the baud rate 9600. Another thing, you need to make sure the communication port number. When I use the PuTTY terminal, here communication port number I have used as 4. If we are using traditional 9-pin serial port in backside of your PC, by default the COM port number will be 1. In case if you are using USB, according to USB port, that number will be changed. Go to run command and type computer management.msc. Once you type this command, you will be able to see the COM port number. I have connected one of my Cisco device using USB port, right? So according to the port, that number will be different. If I am using number 3, so how I will use that number in my terminal program? So if I go to start, and here I am using secure CRT. Right, so this is secure CRT window. Just go to here. I will just choose the new connection. Currently I have connected one switch, right? I will use the serial session name, for example ABC, right? Serial port number. What is the port number do I want to use? As I showed you, my port number is port number 3. Device manager. Here my port number is 3. So number 3 I need to use here, and baud rate I will change 9600, and data bits 8, parity none, stop bits 1. Now once I click OK, then I will be able to see the console of Cisco device using Secure CRT terminal program. Let's familiar with Cisco IOS command modes. So there are 3 main modes. One is user mode, privilege mode, then configuration mode. So once you get into the switch console or router console, normally you will see this symbol, which means you are in user mode. Then while you are in user mode, you can run very few commands like enable, disable, logout and ping. These kind of command you can run. Then from user exit mode, once you type enable, you can get into the privilege exit mode. From privilege exit mode, you can get all the information about router or switch, right? Then from privilege exit mode, if you would like to configure something in the router, then you need to switch over to the global configuration mode. So in order to switch over to the global configuration mode, while you are in privilege exit mode, you need to type the command called configuration terminal. Once you type configuration terminal, you can get into the global configuration mode. While you are in global configuration mode, certain configuration you can configure. For example, if you would like to change the name of the router, then you can use the command called hostname. Then you can type the name what you want, right? For example, R1. Once you type this command hostname space R1, then your router name will be changed as R1 from router. There are certain scenarios that you need to switch over to the sub-level configuration mode. For example, if you would like to switch over to the interface level configuration, then while you are in global configuration mode, just type interface, then the interface number you will type. Once you type interface number, then you can get into the interface. In interface, you can configure any one of the command specific to interface level, right? And similarly, if you would like to switch back to global configuration mode, then from while you are here, then you can just put the command called exit. Again, you will switch back to configuration mode. So once we get into console access, I will show each one of these method practically. Okay, here I will use a Cisco packet tracer for the demonstration purpose. So how you going to work with the Cisco packet tracer software? If I want to add any of the network device, once I click network device, under that network device you can see router, this is switch, this is hub. Let's say for example, if you want to add a router, then click the router icon, and if you want to drop any of the router icon into your background, then just click and drop here. And similarly, if you would like to add any of the switch, then click the switch icon. For example, 2960 switch, if you would like to add, click the 2960 and drop it in the background. If you don't want this router for your practical, then what you can do, you can click the cross icon over here, delete icon, then you just select the router. Without any notification, straight away it will disappear from your background, right? And another method you can delete, what you can do, just press the escape key from your keyboard and select the router. Like this, you select the router, then you click this one, then it will ask, do you want to delete the selected item? If you say yes, it will disappear. Then press the escape key. Okay, in order to simulate the console access, I will use the packet tracer software. What I will do, I will select end devices, then select a PC, drop it here, then click the switch, for example 2960, drop it in the background. So this is switch, right? Then what I will do, I will connect this switch using console access. So in order to connect, if you go to the connection, under connection, all kind of connection we can see. This is console connection, what I was talking earlier, right? So once I click here, I can connect the Cisco device with the computer using DB9 port. For the DB9 port, there is a technical term called RS232. So once I click PC, I will get RS232, and then you can connect it in the console port of your Cisco device, right? So once I connect console port, then you can get into the console using simulated application inside the PC icon, right? So just go to here, the terminal program, you can get it, right? So here you see baud rate 9600, data bit 8, this kind of configuration. This is simulation actually, right? Once you click OK, then you can get the console of your device, right? So in real time, what you will do, you will get the console cable and you will connect the PC with the Cisco device using DB9 port. Then you will be able to get the console of your Cisco device by using one of the following terminal program which I mentioned earlier. It can be hyperterminal, or it can be a Terraterm or Secure CRT, or it can be PuTTY terminal software, right? So here simulated software normally you can get in, right? Once I click OK, I can get the console of the switch over here, right? So once you get into the console, the first mode will be called as user exit mode. From this mode, you can run very few commands like connect, disable, disconnect, enable, logout, those kind of commands you can run, right? But if you would like to see all kind of information from the switch or router, you have to switch over to the privilege exit mode. To switch over to the privilege exit mode, while you are in this mode, you need to type the command called enable. Once you type enable, then you can get into the privilege exit mode. While you are in privilege exit mode, you can get almost every information from the router or switch. So if you put the question mark over here, you can get all bunch of list. For example, show version, right? So show version command is helpful in order to see the version information, which means the model number of your device, and as well as the OS version also you can see through this particular command, right? So similarly, almost every information you can get while you are in privilege exit mode. So if you would like to configure something in the router, you have to switch over to the global configuration mode, right? So in order to switch over to the global configuration mode, you need to put the command called configure terminal, right? So if I put the question mark here, there is a command called configure. So once I type configure, then question mark, you can configure terminal. You are going to configure your switch, right? Configure terminal, then you are in global configuration mode. So whatever the configuration you will configure in this global configuration mode will be applied to your switch globally, right? So globally mean for entire switch it will be applied. So once I get in the global configuration mode, for example, if I want to configure host name, then I can put the command, right? So I am not going to teach the command all the things here. Instead, I am just going to show you what kind of thing you can do in each mode, right? So once I type this command, your switch name will become SW1, right? So I teach you there are 3 sub-level configuration mode. Mainly, one is interface level sub configuration mode, and the second one line configuration mode, and as well as router configuration mode, right? So here I'm going to go for the interface level sub configuration mode. So if I want to go to the interface level sub configuration mode, just go to configure terminal, then you are in global configuration mode. In this main mode you can get into the interface, right? So interface, so if I want to switch over to the gig 101, then gig, then 101, right? So once I enter, then I am in interface level configuration mode. While you are in this mode, you can configure a lot of things. Currently this interface in down status, right, and there is no any IP address, right? So I'm going to assign some IP information over here, right? IP address. Okay, I will make this port as a IP port, no switch port. I will assign the IP address for this interface. For example, IP address 192.168.10.1 then no shut command. So once I give this command, while I am in privilege exit mode, I can get all switch port information, right? Show IP address brief, right? So here you can see the IP information is there, right? So this is the way you will work with the sub-level configuration mode as well. Similarly, if you would like to switch over to the router sub-level configuration mode, then go to global configuration mode. Then from this mode you can switch over to the router EAGRP, then whatever the autonomous system number you want to use, you can choose, right? So once you enter, then you will get into the router sub-level configuration mode, right? Okay, now let's see how you're going to assign password for your console access. Currently there is no any password. If I exit and again if I enter, it will not prompt for the password. Instead it will bring me to the user exit mode. In order to protect console access, I am going to assign the password for my console access. Go to enable, then go to the global configuration mode, right? Then while I am in this mode, I will get into the line sub-level configuration mode, right? So if I put the question mark over here, there is something called line, right? So I will type line, then for which line do you want to configure, right? So I will just put the question mark, then it will ask, do you want to configure the auxiliary port or console port or telnet port? What kind of port do you want to configure? If I want to protect the console access, then I will put the command called console, right? Line console. Console, how many numbers are there? That is 0 to 0, which means only one connection. In each time only one connection you can use. So line console 0. Then I want to provide a password for this console, right? So if I want to provide a password, then it will ask, what kind of password do you want to assign, right? For the purpose of this lab, I will use unencrypted password. Once you enter password, it will assign the password for your console access. Once I give login, then exit again exit, and again exit from here. Then when you enter, it will prompt for the password, right? So once I enter the password, then I can get into the privilege exit mode.